has who is moving to Ministry of Culture. So he wanted that under this National Energy Federation you have. So why don't you bring all the state associations and all the other stakeholders on board, and then uh, for us our task will be simple. Rather than getting multiple representations from multiple corners, it would be aligned and a uniform view which we can from the government side respond to. So that so we just wanted to have this first call as catch up call, spell out why we wanted to connect with you, and then hear from all of you. Do you think it's a good idea? And yes, what is that we can do at the national and state level? I myself uh, chair one of the state associations called Rajasthan Solar Association, is headquartered in Jaipur. So how do we work closely with each other more, and how do we together we be more effective? And several issues which are state specific, how can from the central level we can support you more? So that is the idea. So Subbu, what I propose that maybe we can go throughout this in this virtual room one by one. People can introduce and then would love to hear your views one by one, and then we can have an open house subsequently. With this, Subbu, I'll request if we can allow people to introduce themselves one by one, and let's have the benefit of hearing from everyone.
Sure. So we have in the call as of now, we have 10 people representing 8 states: Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Odisha, West Bengal, and Rajasthan and all. So we can start with down south from Tamil Nadu. Ashok Kumar ji is there. So everyone can first introduce yourself in one round, and then you can start discussing about the issues that your state is facing.
So over to Ashok Kumarji. Would you like to?
Ashokji, your mic is in mute.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for this opportunity, and thanks everyone. Really, it's very happy to know that all of us to be joined together now. My name is Ashok Kumar. I'm the president for the Tamil Nadu Solar Energy Developers Association.
We have Mr. Varghese from Kerala.
The Secretary of the Kerala Renewable Energy Entrepreneurs and Promoters Association. So we are in fact maybe the first few associations, which is a 14-year-old association. You want me to tell the issues now, or that can be later?
Once everyone introduces, then you can go.
Okay.
We have Mr. Pradeep Kulkarni from MASMA. Pradeep ji, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I am Pradeep Kulkarni, President of Maharashtra Solar Manufacturers Association. This association is having about 450 plus members spread across Maharashtra.
Thank you. We have Mr. Saswat from Odisha Solar Alliance.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. This is Shashwat Panda representing Odisha Solar Alliance.
We have Miss Sangeeta from West Bengal.
Hello sir. Good evening all. I'm Sangeeta Sen. I'm founder and CEO of Sunny Solution. I'm doing all in the service industry and not manufacturer of the solar panels, but I use the solar panel installation, service and maintenance to West Bengal.
Okay. Apart from this, we also have Mr. Ajay Singh.
Rajasthan.
Good evening all of you. myself Ajay Shekhawat from Renewable Energy Association of Rajasthan. Thank you, Subbu sir, giving for the opportunity. Thank you.
Then now we can go ahead with state by state, starting with Ashok Kumar Garu
Yeah.
from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, thank you very much. Here there is after COVID-19, there are 3 points to be considered. One is thing is we have both our manufacturers as well as the system integrator in our association. Even today also we had a lot of discussion with our members. First thing, how to pay the salary. So salary became a big issue for us. So solar installation is not only a manufacturing product and sending to the dealers and sub-dealers. It has been taken to the level to install the system. So everything has been stopped. Even May 3rd, we don't know whether we'll be back to our original. It will take another month time. One thing. Second thing, from our solar industry, we should represent the government of India for the waiver of the interest. What we are paying a huge interest to the bank without earning anything. So how we can pay the interest, how we can pay the salary. Third thing, lot of outstanding from MNRE for the getting our subsidies from 2013-14 to till date. We got a lot of issues to get the subsidy in crores of rupees. So our national association to help us to get back the subsidy from MNRE to speed up our activity. The 3 things I want to put in front of you right now. Thank you.
Yeah, so we will respond to these points later. But meanwhile, I would like to welcome Mr. Manish Gupta. He has joined us. He is president of NIMMA and from the manufacturing side. One of the new but very effective associations. And we have also, I think, one more gentleman has joined, right? So
Ashok Kumar joined.
Ashok Kumar. So why don't we first let Mr. Manish Gupta introduce himself, and then we'll let Mr. Ashok Kumar also introduce him, and then subsequently we will come back to the issues.
Sure.
Good evening all. This is Manish Gupta from Insulation Energy, Jaipur, Rajasthan. And I am also president of North India Module Manufacturer Association. We are the association of the SMEs and MSMEs, especially North India's manufacturing, solar panel manufacturers. And we are regularly in the touch with the MNRE for the betterment, or you can say how we can increase the manufacturing in the India. I'm very much thankful for NSFEI for this very interactive session with all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manish. Let me introduce myself. I am the Ashok Kumar. I am the CEO of KCP Solar Industry from Tamil Nadu. I am the president for the Tamil Nadu Solar Manufacturer Association. We have more than 200 members in our association. Thank you.
There is another new Ashok Kumar who has joined. Can you introduce yourself? It is from the name of Ashok Kumar. I don't know who joined. There is another Ashok Kumar in the call.
I think it's same, if I'm right.
Okay, no problem.
I think Ashok Kumar sir must have joined, through cell phone as well as through Zoom call. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So
right. Is somebody, Mr. Arpo? I think, is it like? Are we missing anything? Anybody?
Yeah. Arpo is from Terry. He is also one of our partners. Arpo, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Arpo. I'm from Terry. I'm closely working with different solar industry in different states for the rooftop as well as ground programs. But I'm closely working with Bengal chapter and Northeast chapter. So Mrs. Sangeeta is representing the West Bengal now, and I will be giving a holistic approach about what is happening in the Northeast.
Hey, Mr. Hemant Sapra, can you introduce yourself? Mr. Hemant, can you hear us? Okay. I think we can go ahead.
Right.
Suman.
Right. Ashokji, so we heard your points, and number one is the interest waiver for this COVID period. And we have been interacting with MNRE, and we have been requesting that there should be working capital support also. So that was agreed by MNRE, but unfortunately the secretary himself, who had made this promise that there would be some working capital line from IRIDA and hopefully from PFC and REC. So his portfolio has changed. So we'll have to work with the new person, new gentleman. So this flip-flop from in the bureaucracy has definitely impacted us slightly. But we are very hopeful that with the new person we'll be able to take it forward. On our ability to pay salaries and sustain ourselves, so that is again linked to the liquidity. If we get some short-term liquidity support of COVID lines, then it can partially help mitigate the problem. So the entire industry has been worried, and we have been working on these two issues. Let's see where do we reach. So that would be my short response to your query. We can discuss in detail subsequently. I suggest that we hear views and issues faced by other states as well. Meanwhile, we have Mr. Sanjay Dhawan has joined us. So Dhawan Saab, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll come back to you later again.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm Sanjay Dhawan here. I run an organization called Kalinga Commercials in Bhubaneswar. We primarily work in Odisha, and we have been working in the solar energy sector since 1986. So we started our work here in 1986 with ORIDA, the local nodal agency, and we've worked with a number of companies like Tata, Moser Bear, Side, Adani, Wari. So this is, we also run the Aditya Solar shop here.
Yes. So you will be representing Odisha along with Shashwat, I understand.
Yes, we have a alliance here called the Odisha Solar Alliance. So Shashwat is the main administrator of the group. So both of us will represent that group here.
Suman, go ahead with Kerala.
Yeah. Let's go one by one.
Yeah. The issues here also is more or less in line with already Mr. Shivakumar talked for Tamil Nadu. Just like the salary issue, the movement issue, working capital, I think it is more or less identical. An additional suggestion or issues which we will face now after COVID, because the market is going dip to a very low level. But we found there is something coming to DISCOMs through MNRE subsidy. So one of the, I think this issue maybe there are any old states. So the one of the requests which we posed is this MNRE projects executed through DISCOMs, a particular percentage share, maybe up to 50%, something should be earmarked for the SMEs of the specific state. So this can help up to certain extent for the coming months, because otherwise from the private side also there is going to be very little order. So in addition to the points already as Shivakumar told, this is one of our issues and suggestions. Okay.
Mr. Varghese, to understand it more clearly, so what you are suggesting that all the rooftops and any other kind of work which is being solar work which is being executed through DISCOM, 50% of it should be reserved for SME category.
Exactly.
This is what you are saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Especially those coming with the CFA from MNRE.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we move on to others in the group?
Shashwat, you want to take over from Odisha?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Uh, so here in Odisha, let me brief that most of the companies that are operating in the renewable sector are in solar, and they're majorly EPC or system integrators. So we don't have much of manufacturing here, and here I'm majorly representing some of the suggestions and concerns by the EPCs. First of all, being primarily Odisha being a off-grid market, so the first request was for reduction in the GST for off-grid systems like batteries and inverters. So that will help quite in a quite larger way. Second is increasing the government projects or to achieve the 100 gigawatt target. So we need to push for the government tenders more with local state participations or reserves for local states. And one request in those kind of tenders can be that the advance payment can be increased a bit so that the working capital issues can be sorted out. Here also, as represented by many, short-term working capital or revolving working capital with some interest or something will be a great thing. Another thing is that Odisha, the alliance, in the alliance, Odisha Solar Alliance, many of us have, we have like designed 4 types of solar disinfectant tunnels, solar powered, quarantine chambers, solar powered devices which will be helpful during this kind of emergencies. So we request that we have done some kind of innovation and prototypes which if MNRE or the respective departments can take up and share it with the respective microbiology institutions for testing. And rest of the issues that are there, Mr. Dhawan sir, he will he has a few points that he will share from manufacturing and other business issues.
I'll just clarify first on the GST issue. As you are aware that the tax on renewable energy products is 5%, whereas the tax on the solar batteries and even solar inverters for that matter is quite high. On the batteries, the companies are charging 28%. And solar hybrid inverters, there are a lot of companies which are charging 18%. There is no standardization also in the market regarding the inverters, in the sense that there are some companies who charge 5% on an inverter, and there are other companies who charge 18% on an inverter, which means there is a lack of clarity as far as GST is concerned. So, so you buy products, the main components at 18% and 28%, and then you invoice at 5%. So you have an inverted duty structure, and getting refunds from GST is very difficult and a painful process. Secondly, a substantial amount of your working capital gets blocked over there, which is a big challenge for small organizations. This is something I think integrators across the country are facing this. This was mentioned also by the finance minister in the budget speech, that there are a number of products where we have an inverted duty structure issue, and this will be addressed. But so far, government has not addressed it. So this needs to be, this is a subject which needs to be pushed. This will bring in substantial liquidity in the market. And wherever GST credits are pending, refunds are pending, the process should be made simpler, and that is one place where government can act, so that there is more money with the dealers to do business. And then another aspect is on the subsidy side. MNRE's rules for subsidy keep on changing. So it is very important for them to have a representative, maybe through a tender mode or expression of interest mode. They should have a private player who will ensure that whatever subsidy they have earmarked for a state is actually distributed in that particular financial year. Now that they've involved distribution companies are not familiar with how MNRE will, the subsidy thing will function. Plus, they are quite busy with their own work. So they have to take out time to, meet MNRE officials, understand, apply in necessary formats, and then follow up. The net result here has been that there is not the zero subsidy been disbursed last year. So if MNRE will appoint some organizations and give them targets, their job will be to coordinate with the distribution companies and help, hand holding with the distribution companies so that the subsidy can actually be disbursed. So this will open up the private market.
Right.
Private sector. So on one side we have government spending on tenders and all. Other side, let us open up private market where we have small installations, which is 2 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt. Secondly, the subsidy should be for a rooftop system, irrespective of whether it is solely grid connect or it is also off grid, because there are a number of places where power is not reliable. So how you can force them for on-grid system? It happened in Odisha last year during the cyclone. So I'll give you the example of one particular customer. He had an on-grid system. He had spent 3.5 lakhs to install a system, but 10 days there was no power in Bhubaneswar, and because it was an on-grid system, he could not get any energy. So his family, friends, everybody questioned that you have invested 3.5 lakh rupees in a solar energy system, but when you actually need it, you don't get a drop of energy. So let us not force people into fixed technologies. Let us give them a choice. And, if somebody is in Bombay, there is zero power cut, maybe he would like to put an on-grid system. But if somebody is in a place where it's 3-4 hours power cut in a day, probably it will make more sense to go for an off-grid system. So the choice should be left to the customer. The subsidy amount can be the same. That is not an issue.
Right. Very good points, Mr. Dhawan. So what you are suggesting, number one, that in the entire subsidy mechanism, it could be the subsidy fund management. Right now, it is housed under MNRE, which is leading to a lot of delays. So it could be on a professional basis given to a private sector party or a fund management agency, which will be a lot more proactive, and the delays and the flip-flop in the mechanism. So all of these could be avoided. This is number one, right?
Yes, it can be this, or MNRE will appoint an organization which will do hand-holding with the agency, which will disburse subsidy.
Right.
And will ensure that, yes, at regular intervals, like let's say we should not wait that 100% of the subsidy should be disbursed in the last quarter. If we have a year, so in the first quarter there should be disbursement of at least 10%, 15%. So at the end of every quarter there should be some achievement. The private organization's responsibility will be to see to it that flow of subsidy is taking place. Many a times the like the distribution company or the nodal agency are not able to do proper documentation, timely documentation, and follow the scheme properly. They make small mistakes because of which the subsidy doesn't come through.
Correct.
The price is paid by the customer.
How about
the dealer?
As an interim, giving to private sector, you also know from government, it may be difficult. It will go into endless approval process, and there would be tendering.
I'm not saying that they will give the money to the private sector.
No. Even the fund.
Let us say a company X. It's a consulting company X. It represents MNRE. Its job is to ensure that subsidy flow in Odisha takes place. What they do is they sit with the distribution company. The distribution company people don't have to go to Delhi, follow up with MNRE. They sit with the distribution company, help them, work out their plans, do the documentation for the distribution company to apply to MNRE. And then after MNRE sanctions, whatever MNRE sanctions, they do the handholding with the distribution company so that the proper documentation takes place so that the subsidies from MNRE come through. If the documentation is proper, there is every likelihood that the subsidy will come from MNRE.
One minute, sir. Sorry, sir. I just want to interrupt in this matter. I think, in my knowledge, there is nothing to do with any agency or anything. Everything is online. If any tender is from MNRE or through their local nodal agencies, just like in Rajasthan, in RREC or any other state, every documentation is right now online. You not need to go anywhere. You can do everything from your office.
Nodal agencies
you don't need to go any nodal agency office. Everything is online. Everything, all documents you can submit from your office only.
No. I would like to interact on this point. In state nodal agency, it is in a deputed officer comes. No permanent officer in our state is concerned.
So yes, everywhere the same.
Okay, after
the nodal agency or yes.
Yeah, after 3 years, this fellow will go. MNRE, somebody will change us. So I will tell you one example. The installation is installed about 2-3 years back, where that Aadhaar card was not there. Now MNRE is insisting the Aadhaar card. Who will solve this problem now? So because that we manufacturer only suffering on that, the concerned party is not interested to give the present Aadhaar card. So what I want to convey is a lot of small issues is there. There should be somebody bridge between the state nodal agency and to the MNRE. That's what Sanjay Devans want to convey. Whether it may be a government or non-government, that is different.
And especially now that they will be disbursing subsidy through distribution companies, the role becomes even more important because nodal agencies were somewhat familiar with the system.
Correct, you are right.
Distribution companies are not familiar at all.
This is the different to different, tender to tender. Somewhere this is through distribution company or somewhere directly from the nodal agency. That's all depend on the tender. Which type of tender MNRE float. This is not 100% okay. The everywhere is distributed through the nodal, through the discoms. Somewhere from discoms, somewhere from nodal agencies, somewhere from other agencies. Just like now the KUSUM. If you follow the KUSUM component A, B, C, there is nothing to interaction with the this distribution companies. In every state, the different departments or different agencies are looking after. Just like the pump, you can say the solar pump. Solar pump is mostly looking after with the all state with their respective mantralay. जो सिंचाई विभाग है, सिंचाई मंत्रालय, they are looking after for this is all pump KUSUM Yojana. There is nothing to do with that you can discoms or nodal agency also. All subsidies, everything is distributed from that mantralay. So this all depend on the which type of tender you are looking after. That there is not 100% everywhere in discoms or nodal agency or mantralay looking after for the subsidy. Right. This all depends on tender to tender. Which tender is from which department? So this is different. So you need to have you can say the association. You need to have a relationship with your local person of their department, and mostly in all that currently in all the tenders, everything is online. You no need to go anywhere from your office. You need to put all up, you say update and upload your all papers, all subsidy paper, all invoices, everything on your portal, which you are allotted at the time of the tender. All your payment.
Manishji and Dhawan Saab. So point well taken. So maybe what my conclusion is that it is tender specific. In many tenders, this kind of problem is not there. Somewhere which is there. So there on those cases we need to have such kind of facilitation mechanism, so that at least developers who is putting the money should not suffer. So we will take this point and accordingly recommend to MNRE. So
and secondly, wherever subsidies are being given to private companies for rooftops, in particular, whether it is on grid or off grid, we should not specify too much on L1 price, because you imagine if you want to promote TVs and you will say, okay, I will give subsidy only on LG TV or only on Sony TV or Samsung TV. It doesn't sound because there are deviations.
This is not possible in India, sir. Sir, this is not possible in India anyhow. This is a
We'll turn
typical
India into
standard.
Japan.
Not possible. You cannot turn.
No, I think
You cannot turn. So this is not a matter of debate, because sir, India is a very different country of very different type of systems. The
Yeah,
L1
why
system,
we should have L1? Because what happens is this ultimately the customer has to buy the weakest product in the market, and he does not have a good experience with that product, and that is one reason why solar energy in our country has not taken off. You see, we have been working in this
It's
field
not this
before
is
many other countries.
I know that, but
before
not
many other
this is
countries.
this is not like this way. If you are looking after for other states also, just like I can say the recent tender which is completed in the Gujarat, the 600 megawatt rooftop PGVCL tender. I think more than 520 megawatt already the files are uploaded. People are doing more than 350 megawatt in last only 6-7 months. They are doing a very professional manner, very good manner. Government also having very strong quality follow-up with all the developers. They have stated everything, including the structure, structure thickness, structure weight, structure, even civil consultant certificate they also required with everything. Even they have everything with the modules with the DCR content only. Everything they have.
We can discuss in detail in a different way. First, let us complete the state level concerns, and at the end we will take it to
yes.
Suman Garu, up to you to answer Dhawanji's. Then we will go ahead with.
So basically, what Manish ji is saying, what Dhawan Saab is saying. So they both have points. So what the objective of this call is that new secretary will be taking over very soon. So after consulting all of you, we want to prepare a checklist that this is what a complete list, that these are the issues at the state level, even at the micro level people are facing, and then accordingly educate him and bring him up to speed, and so that some of these solutions what we are talking about could be expedited.
Once new secretary comes, our request is better call for a meeting at Delhi. We are also there in the meeting.
Sir. So, sir, we don't know when we all will be able to travel. Let's have a moment after is definitely the objective. We will have a meeting, full-fledged, all the associations, all the state level representatives, at least 20-30 people. But we don't want to wait for that, sir. We want to compile everything, have our agenda ready, and engage with him immediately, so that at least the COVID time when things are slow, we use this opportunity to bring him up to speed, educate him, align him properly, so that we hit the ground immediately after lockdown is over. So that's the objective.
And also you have to help all the state, our association throughout the state to represent MNRE, get that pending subsidies. A lot of subsidies are pending from the government of India.
So last week, on this point, I wanted to share with all of you that we have started having regular dedicated call with Joint Secretary of MNRE, Mr. Amitesh Kumar Sinha. So last week, we had a call 1 hour with the Federation members, and we raised the issue of pending subsidy from MNRE. So he promised within 7 days it will be disbursed. So what we will do immediately after this call, so what I'm hearing from many of you, subsidy is still pending. So we will highlight, like Tamil Nadu, it is pending. We have noted down. Other states like Odisha is a problem. So we'll say that, sir, these are the issues. We have got the feedback from the ground that subsidies are pending. Kindly get it checked. In MNRE, there is a gentleman called Mr. Rajinder Singh, and there is Mr. Hiren Vora. So, so they have been asked to on the subsidy matter respond to us. So we are noting down, and this point we will immediately take up, because it's already a promise from MNRE side to help us.
Next, we will go to Pradeep ji from MASMA, Maharashtra.
Hello, good evening all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I just want to come on this subsidy point, okay, because a lot of discussion has been taking place. Now with the current COVID-19 and Corona issue, I am really doubtful if Government of India will have subsidies coming in for the future. Of course, the old subsidies should be given as promised by the government, but I think the new subsidies may not come through. So instead of subsidy, is there any other way in which we can, ask the government to fulfill our shortfall? Like for example, someone very rightly said we need working capital or interest waiver or things of that type. Second thing is, recently there is a mandate given by the government that all the employees should be covered under the insurance policy, under some mediclaim policy. So who is going to pay for that extra mediclaim amount that will come? So that was another thing. Then coming to the products, 90% or 70% of all the products that we are getting in India are mostly Chinese, or at least the raw material of that is coming from China, and then we are making the panels out here in India. So with the current scenario and the government policies which have been rolled out by our Shri Modi ji, I don't know the status whether they will be allowed to, allow us to procure Chinese, PV, silicon wafers and all that. So that is another thing which really needs to be worked on. Another point is about the subsidy routed through DISCOMs. That is the distribution companies. Well, even in Maharashtra, they are trying to do the same. And fortunately for Maharashtra, I don't know about other states, but Maharashtra, we are trying to fight, very strongly against the distribution companies to try and hand over the subsidy part of the proposals to MEDA, that is the nodal agency of Maharashtra, that is Maharashtra Energy Development Agency. We have not, we have not still tried to break the ice because the nodal company and the distributions have not yet come together. But we are trying hard to, try and tell them that it is better that, the subsidy, since nodal agencies are already aware of how it is to be done, what is the documentation that is required and all that. Another point which I would like to make, which is not of course related to all these things, is I am seeing that there are only 13 members or 14 members who have joined our today's Zoom meeting. I'm sure there are other states who are having associations of solar. So let us try and make our efforts to request them also to, join our further discussion on Zoom as and when they could be made available. And just one more point which I want to make is we are at the moment at different levels, state levels, people who are trying to talk, we should actually form a national level body. And then we all can be members of this national level body association. So then the national level association will have a strong point, that they can say that we have got, 30 state level agencies supporting us. So maybe this also, I think we should look into. I mean, these are just a few thoughts of mine. Well, that's all. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Great, Pradeep ji. So basically, this is exactly the idea of having this call. What we are representing, the National Solar Energy Federation of India. It was set up in 2013 in Delhi. It has dedicated office, lot of staff, and the Subbu, who is sipping his coffee right now. So he is the CEO. Passed out from, is dedicated for the federation, and it's a big team in federation led by him. And there are chapters in many parts of the country. So basically, what Secretary MNRE Mr. Anand Kumar was earlier, he wanted that it should not be only the national level issues federations would be raising. So his expectation was that all the even state level associations, and there are many of would need to be brought under the umbrella so that their voice is also heard and it could be streamlined and aligned. So this is exactly the objective of this call, and I'm glad that you raised it up. And we want to work very, very closely with you and provide you any sort of support at the central level, because having a big team and all the facilities and reach to all the stakeholders. So let's try to join each other and work in a fashion that it is considered to be part of the same family.
Thank you so much.
Let's move on.
Next, we'll go to West Bengal. Either Arpo or Sangeeta can outline the West Bengal issues.
Yes, sir. Sangeeta here. Problem is almost same, sir. Subsidies always pending, and the rules of the amenity further the which on the side are say the problem is same. Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, apart from that, there are some specific problems in the state of West Bengal. It is like that the unified portal, which is already being developed in all the states, is ready for the West Bengal. And the problem is that most of the states have declared their targets for year 2021 or 21-22. But in case of West Bengal, the achievements are very low and they have not disclosed their targets also. And right now, as there is no TA agency particularly working for the state of West Bengal also. Yes, please, Sangeeta.
Oh, sorry, sir. You can carry on. Carry on. I will after that.
So if you see the installations in West Bengal are not up to the mark or which is done across the country. This may be due to the geographical landscape or the financial capability of the consumers in West Bengal. But if you go to the northeast, northeast sector, so northeast was a privileged area in the previous phase 1 scheme where the subsidy was for 70%, but suddenly it has been reduced from 70% to 30%, which is causing problems to the sector. And since there are no or very less solar companies or installers in the northeast, but in the regime of 30% subsidy, no one is going to take up the projects. The states of Assam, Arunachal, Mizoram, Tripura have taken a very less targets in the phase 2 of 2 megawatt, 4 megawatt, 5 megawatt. But I came to note that Meghalaya has taken a very big step. They are planning to ask MNRE a target of 200 megawatts of rooftop solar. So that's a bold step for the state of Meghalaya. Whereas West Bengal haven't asked for any target till now, and there is no T agency. West Bengal.
Can I add something, Suku sir? Suku sir, can I add it?
Yeah, sure.
In West Bengal, only 5 kilowatt give the on-grid section. Less than 5 kilowatt, we don't get the any on-grid system installation. It's a big problem. If anybody can want to install 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatt, they don't use the on-grid power section. But here don't have so many power cuts also, so they can easily use that. But the system is not approved that they want only 5 kilowatt to and above can go to the on-grid system.
Right. So one slightly, digressing. So the National Federation has very good relationship with something called Forum of Regulator, Eastern and Northeastern chapter. So all the chairmen of Regulatory Commission, so they have this forum where they meet together, and then every quarter they meet, and then they discuss what are the issues. So last time the meeting happened in Arunachal Pradesh in a place called Dharan, where both myself and Subbu, we went there and presented. So West Bengal Electricity Regulatory Commission, Mr. Bhattacharya had personally invited us, and then Odisha Regulatory Chairman, he is currently chairing that chapter. So maybe Subbu, we can compile all our asks or requests from Eastern and Northeastern region, and we will send it to Forum of Regulator for East and Northeast. Like for example, allowing this below 5 kilowatt also for grid connected. So these are some of the issues where Regulatory Commission can immediately resolve. So there, the engagement and relationship federation has with the regulators, that will come handy. So Arpo, I'll request you also, whichever Northeast, since you have quite a decent experience in that area, you can help us compile issues in Northeastern region, and maybe we'll collect input from other Eastern states as well. And can we be focused and can help here on this regard?
Sure, Sumant.
Then we have Manish ji from NIMA. Manish ji, you can go ahead. After you, we are just joined with the Punjab Association, Devendra Agarwal ji, who is also Intersolar Systems MD and our command. So after you, we will go to Punjab.
On a lighter note, we have the privilege of seeing Manish ji's face, as well as the painting he has of Mona Lisa on the wall behind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Basically, I just give a brief on the manufacturing behalf. We are, as you say, we are the. Can you sir mute sir somebody behind the yes, manufacturing behalf? As you know, the currently government is also focusing how to increase the manufacturing in India. And in last few weeks, we have 3 meetings with Secretary Anand Kumar ji, especially on the manufacturing behalf. Government has already suggested lots of things like previously they have imposed a safeguard duty on solar cells and solar modules, and now they are planning with the BCD. The lots of discussion happen with the stakeholders and government, the how the BCD will come and with the what percentage is government planning to you can say the apply BCD after 30th July 2020. Because after 30th July, the safeguard duty is finished. There is no duty after that SGD. So government is planning to apply the BCD after the safeguard duty. And now they are planning to have the complete means solar module reverse chain to manufacturing in India, like modules, cells, ingot, wafer, polysilicon and other component which is used in the solar manufacturing, especially and also the solar inverter also, grid tie inverter also they are planning to have. But the major problem is there is no roadmap or there is no government planning to how to increase the manufacturing capacity in India. As I will told you, the currently around 10 gigawatt module manufacturing available in India, and cell manufacturing is around 2.5 gigawatt, which is a very huge gap in India to sell to module manufacturing. If we manufacture the complete capacity, then only 25% cells available in India. The first of all, we have already requested to government to first of all to give some incentive or gives some interest free or less interest rates to increase cell manufacturing in India, so that first we increase the cell manufacturing and giving a less dependency on the China and other countries. Then after we can go for the ingot, wafer and other manufacturing also. The problem is that the government is making a module and cells in all, you can say, the same way. They are planning to apply BCD equal on the cell and the modules. So this create a very much imbalance in the market. So the big developers or you can say big manufacturers are not upcoming with the you can say investment in the cell manufacturing. So that manner we are planning, because it's the same thing, the Chinese or the other countries investor are not coming to India due to this lack of the, you can say, the clear policy by the government. So we are very much having the discussion with the government, make a long-term policy, make a clear policy so that the foreign investment come to India and the current manufacturer also increase their capacity. Because if government is not apply BCD less than 20 or 25%, I will tell you after July 2020, the current manufacturer having lots of problem to survive. Because the Chinese or other countries module and cells will become cheaper. There is no duty, or if there is only 1%, 2% or 5% duty, there's we are not anywhere in the competition in the with the cheaper import. So we already request to the government, if you want to focus on Make in India, then you need to support Indian manufacturing, especially current Indian manufacturing, because all SMEs and MSMEs, they want to increase their current capacity from whatever they have to their next level. But everybody is waiting to clear and long-term policy with the government. So this is the main problem we are focusing. We already discussed with NSFBI that we can make the same note and submit to our requirements and our to increase the manufacturing in India to the department MNRE. But the main thing is that lots of time we think that MNRE is not the department which is looking after for the manufacturing. The main department who is looking after the manufacturing, that is electronics and electronics department, which minister is Mr. Ravi Shankar. So problem is the MNRE is focusing to make the policies and how to improve or how to increase solar plant or solar power plant, you can say, establishment in India. This is not much focusing on the how to increase the manufacturing, because so this is the better. The electronics department and MNRE department not having coordination with each other, so that there is no long-term policy will make for the manufacturing, especially for the manufacturing. So I request whenever the next meeting will be done with the secretary or the minister, we are already request to make some policies, and in this policy we request only 2-3 things. One, give us some interest, we can say the interest subsidy invention to the capital investment, or for the new you can say the new development or the new facility in India. The second one, we ask with the MNRE give some export incentive to the current manufacturers, which already China give to their manufacturers. China giving at least 13 to 15% export incentive, or you can say export subsidy to their manufacturers. And in India, we have maximum 3 to 5%, and that is also we get after 1 year or after 2 years. So this is the major problem. So we already have lots of discussion in this regard with the MNRE, and from manufacturing side, this is everything which I share with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Manishji. Just wanted to bring it to your notice and for the notice of everyone. On the manufacturing piece, actually what we see that rather than MNRE or Ministry of Electronics or DIPP or Ministry of Commerce, from the policy side, Niti Aayog is more active. So I think whatever all the inputs from NIMA side you have given to MNRE, if you share it with us, so in our next representation to Niti Aayog, we will cover that, because we feel that is emerging as a more powerful institution from the policy front, at least from the manufacturing angle. This is what wanted to share with everyone. So point well taken. We'll take it up. Thanks a lot.
We have next Mr. Devendra Agarwal from Chhattisgarh. Devendra ji, you have joined late, so we would request you to outline the key issues faced by solar developers or EPC or rooftop players in Chhattisgarh. Can you hear us, Devendra ji? Hello. Devendra ji, can you hear us?
I think there is some problem at Devendra ji's end. Meanwhile, is there any other state which we have so far covered? Maybe we can move on and come back to Devendra ji.
I think we have one more left, Mr. Ajay Singh Shekhawat.
थैंक यू सुबह सर. मैं राजस्थान को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ. मतलब राजस्थान में काफ़ी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. लास्ट ईयर जो सब्सिडी प्रोग्राम था 25 मेगावाट का, वो सब्सिडी अभी तक नहीं मिली है किसी को, और अभी फिर से 45 मेगावाट का टेंडर आ गया है. ठीक है, तो एक तो सब्सिडी का में राजस्थान में भी। दूसरा मेरा एक कंसर्न हो रहा है कि MNRE ने डिक्लेयर किया है कि कोविड-19 एक फोर्स मेजर डिक्लेयर किया है, तो जो ओपन एक्सेस में कैप्टिव और थर्ड पार्टी में जो भी प्लांट लगे हैं उसमें लास्ट ईयर राजस्थान का जो 2019 पॉलिसी उससे पहले के पॉलिसी में जो प्लांट लगे हैं उसमें जो बैंकिंग है वो मंथली बैंकिंग है। तो मार्च में तो लोगों का सेट ऑफ हो जाएगा पावर, लेकिन जो लोग अप्रैल में जिन्होंने फैक्ट्री नहीं चलाई है और हेलो
अजय जी बोलिए,
हाँ
हम सब सुन रहे हैं।
हाँ, तो अप्रैल में जिन्होंने फैक्ट्री नहीं चलाया है और जो पावर उनका जनरेट हुआ है वो सारा का सारा डिस्कॉम को, ग्रिड को गया है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी को। तो उनको अब ये बैंकिंग मंथली बैंकिंग है तो उनको अप्रैल में बेनिफिट नहीं मिल पाएगा। तो इसके लिए डिस्कॉम को या जो भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी है उनको डिसीजन लेना चाहिए कि अगले 6 महीने के लिए उनको बैंकिंग दी जाए, जो लास्ट स्कीम में जो प्रोजेक्ट लगे हैं।
जी अजय जी, आपने बताया कि जो सब्सिडी है पिछला 24 मेगावाट का टेंडर था,
25
RREC टेंडर की बात कर रहे हैं?
RREC टेंडर की है सर।
तो लास्ट टू लास्ट वीक जब जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी से हमने ये पॉइंट टेकअप किया था, तो उनका ये बोलना था कि RREC की सब्सिडी हम रिलीज कर रहे हैं। ऑलरेडी उन्होंने अपनी ट्रेजरी को इंस्ट्रक्शन दे दिए हैं कि RREC की पिछली पेंडिंग सब्सिडी रिलीज की जाए। और एक बस ये बताना चाहूंगा कि लोगों ने सब्सिडी के लिए कोविड की सिचुएशन में गवर्नमेंट के पास भी फंड्स लिमिटेड हैं, बट हमारा ये आर्गुमेंट था कि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी इज एन एसेंशियल सर्विस और एसेंशियल सर्विस को लिक्विडिटी सपोर्ट करना बहुत जरूरी है। और बिकॉज रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी को अभी सब्सिडी बहुत सारे जो छोटे प्लेयर्स हैं उनकी सब्सिडी स्टक है, अगर आप इसको जल्दी करा देंगे तो इट इज सम रिलीफ, much needed relief during this time of COVID. तो ये आर्गुमेंट हमने यूज किया था which worked. तो अभी हम जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी से फिर से फॉलो अप करेंगे एंड वी विल इंक्लूड कि RREC की ये सब्सिडी क्यों नहीं मिल रही है।
सर मैं थोड़ा सा इंटरप्ट करूंगा सर इसमें। ऑलरेडी सर लास्ट मीटिंग जो हमारी हुई थी RREC उसमें MNRE में, गवर्नमेंट हैविंग सर मोर देन 1200 करोड़ सब्सिडी पेंडिंग विद टू ऑल ओवर इंडिया with different schemes with different schemes। 1200 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा गवर्नमेंट को डिस्पर्स करने हैं इस समय ऑल ओवर इंडिया के। और करंट सिचुएशन में ये बात मैं कह रहा हूँ आपसे सर लगभग फेब एंड की, मार्च फर्स्ट वीक की जब मेरी MNRE में मीटिंग हुई थी सेक्रेटरी साहब से और डिप्टी सेक्रेटरी साहब से, एंड आफ्टर दैट दिस कोविड इज कम, एवरीथिंग इज लॉकडाउन। जब सारी सिचुएशन ओके थी सर और जब किसी तरह की प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, ऑल प्रोजेक्ट्स आर गोइंग ऑन टाइम, एवरीथिंग इज रनिंग वेल, उस समय पे भारत सरकार ने सब्सिडी रिलीज नहीं करी थी। वजह रीजन कुछ भी हो, और आज जब कोविड की इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग और इतनी जबरदस्त पोजीशन है और इतनी सारा की सारा इंडिया लॉकडाउन में है, सारी दुनिया लॉकडाउन में है, तो मेरे को नहीं लगता सर आगे आने वाले टाइम में MNRE या इस तरह के डिपार्टमेंट सब्सिडी यू कैन से रिलीज करने की पोजीशन में होंगे। और इसके अलावा भी सर आपने देखा होगा फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री ने एक लिस्ट अभी निकाली थी लास्ट वीक, मैंने शायद डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स में शेयर भी की थी। उसमें उन्होंने अपने सारे मंत्रालयों को A, B और C कैटेगरी में डिवाइड किया है। A, B, C कैटेगरी मींस कौन सा मंत्रालय या कौन सा डिपार्टमेंट कितना पैसा कहाँ खर्च कर सकता है विद देयर अलॉटेड क्वार्टरली फंड। मतलब 1 अप्रैल से 30 जून तक जिस डिपार्टमेंट को, जिस मंत्रालय को जो फंड मिला है, उनको A, B, C 3 कैटेगरी में बांटा गया था। और जिसमें कि C कैटेगरी में वो मंत्रालय थे जिनकी लीस्ट रिक्वायरमेंट है, जो लीस्ट आइटम्स या फिर सिस्टम्स में आते हैं, और वो सिर्फ अपने बजट 3 महीने के मतलब क्वार्टरली बजट का 15% पैसा खर्च कर सकते हैं। और MNRE कैटेगरी C में आता है, जो डिपार्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट ने नोटिफिकेशन निकाला है, MNRE कैटेगरी C में आता है। इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि सर अगर MNRE को जो भी फंड इस क्वार्टर के लिए रिलीज हुए थे या मंजूर हुए थे, वो उन फंड का सिर्फ 15% पैसा ही खर्च कर सकता है। तो अभी मेरे को नहीं लगता कि सर आगे आने वाले टाइम में स्पेशली फॉर RE या किसी भी इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना पैसा होगा कि वो अपनी सब्सिडीज को या पुराने ड्यूज को क्लियर कर सके। तो ये एक तरीके से सर कह सकते हैं कि अलार्मिंग सिचुएशन है फॉर ऑल डेवलपर्स, ऑल इन्वेस्टर, कि वो जो भी इन्वेस्ट करें या जो भी पैसा लगाएं वो एक लॉन्ग टर्म पॉलिसी के हिसाब से सोच के लगाएं कि वर्किंग कैपिटल उनकी स्टक होनी ही होनी है।
सुमन सर, इसमें मेरा एक और पॉइंट है। अभी लास्ट सोलर क्वार्टर का एक वेबिनार था, उसमें MNRE सेक्रेटरी वगैरह काफी लोग थे MNRE से। तो उन्होंने कहा था कि हमने अभी जो हमारे पास केसेस पेंडिंग थे, मतलब आफ्टर कोविड-19 की बात कर रहा हूँ, तो हमने सारे क्लियर कर दिए हैं, बट अभी हमारे पास अभी और कोई फंड नहीं है सब्सिडी क्लियर करने के लिए। तो
Right. Got it. So basically, for the benefit of people from non-Hindi speaking state, so what Manish ji highlighted a practical problem. He's saying that MNRE has 1,200 crores of subsidy stuck, and they are running out of money. Second problem is that MNRE is during COVID. So there is the government of India divided every ministry into three categories, and MNRE was category 3, where it is slightly lower order in priority ranking. So therefore, the financial problem is natural, and he was urging that all of us, all the investors, should be very careful and should budget in some decent working capital while planning any investment. So Manish ji, thank you. This is very good advice. My point is, even though situation is very tough, but we have to continue to try. Whatever, if we maintain the pressure from our side, if we continue demanding, then maybe at least we will keep MNRE on toes, and MNRE will keep seeking some funding support from Ministry of Finance. If we do not put enough pressure from our side, then it could be further delayed. So whether there is enough budget or not, our duty is to maintain the pressure and voice from our side. That would be my take here. And coming to second point, which Ajay pointed out, Ajay is that for open access and third party sale, particularly it could be captive also. So there should be banking rollover of energy should be allowed. So Ajay ji, it was already MNRE wrote to state of Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Karnataka, and we immediately requested MNRE to come up with similar circular and direct all the other states as well. So that is work in progress in MNRE. We are continuously chasing. It's a problem which is not only specific to Rajasthan. Apart from these three states, every other state is facing. And even in these three states, particularly I spoke to Chief Engineer SLDC in Tamil Nadu. So after receiving MNRE circular, they haven't taken a decision on that. So that decision should be favorable. This is a very important point, which thanks for highlighting. We'll continue to pursue with MNRE.
थैंक यू सुमन सर। एक नेट मीटरिंग को लेके है। नेट मीटरिंग का पॉलिसी एकदम मतलब यहाँ पे राजस्थान में 3 डिस्कॉम है, JVNL, AVNL और ZEVNL, जयपुर, जोधपुर और अजमेर। तो जो पॉलिसी है वो क्लियर नहीं रहता है कई बार, मतलब रूरल डिस्कॉम के साथ में नेट मीटरिंग करवाने में काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम आता है। अगर मैं जयपुर की बात करूँ तो बहुत जल्दी हो जाता है। तो MNRE को जितनी भी डिस्कॉम्स है उनके साथ में ज्वाइंट होके इस सारे के सारे जो वर्किंग प्रोसेस है इसको ऑनलाइन करना चाहिए। दूसरा, जो भी प्लांट कमीशन हो रहा है, मतलब मैं अगर कैपेक्स की बात करूँ, कैपेक्स और इंडस्ट्रियल की, जहाँ पे कोई सब्सिडी नहीं है, कोई किसी से भी लगवाता है, तो वो एक पोर्टल के थ्रू रजिस्टर होना चाहिए वहाँ पे। तो इससे पता चलेगा कि एक स्टेट की एग्जैक्ट इंस्टॉल कैपेसिटी कितनी है। अभी जो भी डेटा है जिसके कि इस स्टेट में इसका EPC रूफटॉप में इतना इंस्टॉल हुआ है, तो वो थ्रू RRCL साइट डेटा और जो बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनके डेटा के हिसाब से डिक्लेयर हो रहा है। तो अगर ये पोर्टल ऑनलाइन होगा, इस पे सारे प्लांट रजिस्टर्ड होंगे, तो एग्जैक्ट डेटा निकल के आएगा कि इस स्टेट में इतना डोमेस्टिक इंस्टॉल्ड है, इतना कॉमर्शियल इंस्टॉल्ड है, इतना इंडस्ट्रियल इंस्टॉल्ड है। एक ये पोर्टल होना चाहिए। राजस्थान ऑलरेडी इस पोर्टल पे काम कर रहा है।
वेरी गुड आइडिया। सो आपको कब तक लगता है, कब तक ये पोर्टल राजस्थान में चालू हो जाएगा?
राजस्थान में अगर ये कोविड नहीं होता तो अभी 1-1.5 महीने में हो जाता सर, बट हमारी रेगुलर बात हो रही है उनसे, तो जैसे ही लॉकडाउन खुलेगा तो 2-2.5 महीने में हो जाएगा सर।
Right. So we will, for the benefit of others, what Mr. Ajay is highlighting, that Rajasthan, all the state discoms are working on a portal where all the net metering, the entire data, everything would be available online, and everybody can see it. So we will use that as an example, and we will, as part of best practices from the federation side, we will write to all other discoms and states, and maybe it will inspire other states also.
Right.
So that is like sharing of best practices we should continue to do. Thanks Ajay for highlighting.
इसमें सुमित सर, सारे एसोसिएशन अभी लोग हम लोग अदर हर स्टेट से लोग हैं, तो सबको अगर डिस्कॉम करता है ठीक है, नहीं हमारा डिसीजन ये था कि हम लोग ये सॉफ्टवेयर या पोर्टल बना के और डिस्कॉम को हैंड ओवर करेंगे, हमारा ये था। अगर फिर हमारी बात हुआ तो उन लोगों के हम ऑलरेडी इस पर वर्किंग कर रहे हैं, तो सब स्टेट से एसोसिएशन से लोग हैं, तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप लोग भी अपने स्टेट्स में बात करिए, और अगर उसमें बनाने में कुछ फंड लगता है तो आप लोग उसको बना के अपने डिस्कॉम्स को हैंड ओवर कीजिए, इससे अच्छा होगा और अपने ईपीसीएस को चैलेंज कम आएंगे सर नेट मीटिंग में।
Right. So what is a very good point. So what the idea here is that if in digitization and creating this kind of portal, if some discom is not taking lead, maybe a little bit of cost or maybe internal bureaucracy or maybe approval process,
Right.
then it could be a gift from the industry side in that particular state.
Right.
And the cost may not be much. So all of us, it is just like rather than just highlighting a problem, is a proposing a solution, is a giving a solution to respective states. So I'll urge everyone who is here on this call, let's try to replicate this approach, and maybe Ajay ji from the federation side, we can write to everyone, and we can partner with some of the international donor agency as part of their capacity building, if they can support and get this model replicated in the states. So why don't you connect with Subbu and me offline, and let's try to take this forward.
ठीक है सर। सेकंड मेरा सब्सिडी को लेके पॉइंट है, इसमें लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर वाटर पंपिंग में क्या था, नाबार्ड का एक प्रोग्राम चलता था, उसमें क्रेडिट लिंक प्रोग्राम था कि 20% फार्मर शेयर है, 40% बैंक लोन एंड 40% सब्सिडी है, बट वो 80% लोन होता था और फिर 40% सब्सिडी नाबार्ड से इमीडिएटली आता था। उसमें नाबार्ड के पास फंड अवेलेबल रहता था, सब्सिडी अवेलेबल रहती थी, आप कोई भी बैंक अप्लाई करके एडवांस सब्सिडी ले सकता था कि मुझे 10 करोड़ 15 करोड़ चाहिए और मैं इतना कंज्यूम कर लूँगा, अगर वो कंज्यूम करता है ठीक है, नहीं तो वो नाबार्ड को रिटर्न भी कर सकता है। तो रूफटॉप टेंडर में भी कुछ इसी तरीके का होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज क्योंकि ईपीसी बहुत स्टक है सर, दो मतलब साल से अगर सब्सिडी नहीं आएगा। अभी राजस्थान का प्राइस का बात करूँ तो 42 43 का प्राइस है, मतलब छोटे प्रोजेक्ट में, और आफ्टर सब्सिडी ये प्रोजेक्ट 38 36 35 इस रेट में लगेगा, तो मतलब जेब से पैसा लगा के ईपीसी काम कर रहा है वहाँ पे। एक तो कुछ नए लोगों की वजह से वैसे ही परेशान है कि वो L1 प्राइस डाल देते हैं, फिर वो लोग जैसे जैसे कि यार काम करना है काम कर रहे हैं, और फिर सब्सिडी टाइम पे नहीं आता है तो वो लोग वैसे स्टक करते हैं, फिर 2-4 साल में इंडस्ट्री से आउट हो जाते हैं, मतलब पैसे की प्रॉब्लम से। तो इसको नाबार्ड से लिंक करके और एडवांस सब्सिडी का इसमें प्रोविजन होना चाहिए कि कोई जैसे जिस स्टेट में नोडल एजेंसी से हो रहा है तो नोडल एजेंसी नाबार्ड से सब्सिडी ले सकती है, और जिस स्टेट में डिस्कॉम से टेंडर हो रहा है और मल्टीपल डिस्कॉम से, जैसे राजस्थान में 3 डिस्कॉम है, जयपुर जोधपुर अजमेर, तो वो अपनी अपनी कैपेसिटी के हिसाब से एडवांस सब्सिडी क्लेम करें और अपना टारगेट अचीव करके दिखाएं गवर्नमेंट को, इससे ज़्यादा काम हो पाएगा सर।
Very good point, very good point. Noted.
और ऑलरेडी पंप में इसमें ग्रोथ की है एमएनआरई ने, नाबार्ड में काफी अच्छा रिस्पांस आया, राजस्थान से तो बहुत
काफी अच्छा था। I remember इसमें था worth recommending.
और
any other state we Devendra Agarwal ji haven't spoken, right?
No. Devendra Agarwal ji, can you hear us? I think some technical problem is there from his side. He is unable to answer my text also and my phone also. Devendra ji, can you hear us?
Mr. Dinesh Kumar also has not spoken, right?
No, he's from the same organization as Mr. Ajay. So.
Okay.
So I think we have come to the end of discussion regarding state level problems.
One more point I would like to highlight here to Sumant ji. Actually, in our state, there is no net metering is available. Only the gross meter policies comes in. And if we take the MNRE subsidy, 40% up to 3 kilowatt and more than 3 kilowatt is 20%. Still, it is not an operative by the DISCOM. There is a dispute between the DISCOM and state nodal agency. Every state facing the same thing. But my request here is somebody is represented the off-grid power plant. So I don't to go for hybrid systems. Approach MNRE to go for hybrid power plant with the same subsidy pattern. allow hybrid inverters to be installed. If the client is interested, let them go for investing in a lithium-ion battery, whatever the battery they want. This is another point I would like to add. Thank you.
Pradeep ji wanted to talk something.
I had a clarification to Suman ji. See, on the GST, it was 5%, it is 5% for the system. But I remember there was some circular in between telling of the project 70% should be supply and 30% should be treated as service, and the taxing should be according to that 70-30 percentage. But is it only for large projects or it was applicable even for small projects? Because here we see almost everybody is following the 70-30% policy even for small projects, even 3 kVA, 5 kVA. How is it in other states?
So basically, to a quick response is, whenever there is a turnkey EPC, so if the solution is provided from the EPC side to a developer, irrespective of the project size, it should be a turnkey, a single contract. In that case, it is very difficult to differentiate what is the service element and what is the supply element. So therefore, MNRE has come up with this normative split, which is 70% supply and 30% service. So in those turnkey contracts, so 5% is applicable on 70% value, and 30% value will attract 18% service tax, GST. So net, if you, it was around 8.9% GST, which was coming out to be. So now it is a reference. If you have the ability to split it, and the contracts are also split, invoicing is also split, then you can go individual component wise. That flexibility is there. What from the federation side we have been recommending, that in our case for solar, service component is very little. This 30% normative number is quite burdensome because it is only labor contract. Majority is 60% of the value in module itself. Then inverter and structure constitute another 20%, another component another 10%. So over around 90% is the supply itself. So we have been consistently seeking relief from MNRE and Ministry of Finance and asking for a split in the range of 90-10 rather than 70-30. So that's what we have done so far. But as of now, 70-30 is the norm by Government of India.
Okay, and yeah. Okay, 90-10 is the right thing. At least for the small things like 3 kVA, 5 kVA. Maybe for large projects, megawatts are there, land, building, road, everything, it can be different. Yeah.
Right. We have recommended, we have continuously, our stand is uniform. It should be, the split should be 90-10.
Yeah.
So far, we are hopeful that one day government will listen. So far, it is work in progress.
Yeah.
Also, to respond to, I forgot one point Mr. Dhawan had raised. Duty GST on battery, which is 28% right now. So from the federation side, on that point also, we had requested MNRE, and subsequently Mr. Anand Kumar had written to GST Council recommending that it should be same as 5%. I used to have a copy of that letter also, but it is dated 1 year back. So far, GST Council has not agreed. But again, it is work in progress. So that also, just to share with you that that was our request already at some point of time in the past.
So I got one question.
Yeah.
In the rooftop project, instead of 70-30 is a big burden for us. Can we make a different invoices for the supply and different invoice for the installation? Is it be acceptable by the GST Council?
If you want to make separate invoices, then it should be component wise. It's not only supply, and so that is the problem.
That is the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
We have Pradeep Kulkarni ji wanted to ask something. After that,
Yes.
Sanjay Dhawan ji and Shashwat.
Yes. Actually, we are talking of this rooftop. Okay. And I am seeing that there are different policies in different states as far as the rooftop is concerned. Then can we not, Modi ji is saying ki one nation, one policy. So why cannot MNRE have one policy for rooftop? In Maharashtra, they were trying to convert from net metering to gross metering. And we objected very strongly to MERC. MERC is Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission. And we had representation in the court at 5 to 6 different places. And I'm happy to tell you that we are continuing with the net metering policy. But then why should it happen in Maharashtra? Why not have a common policy for rooftop for all over the state? One nation, one policy. That was one point. Second point which I wanted to mention was about special allocation for rooftop. We are talking of megawatt level projects, but there should be special allocation for rooftop projects. And third point which I want to make again and again, I mean, people have been talking of subsidy. I remember some years back, we were fighting for subsidy for hot water. And after some time, we thought that without subsidy, we can sustain. So can we give it a thought whether we can sustain, without subsidy for rooftop projects? This is just a thought. I mean, we can work on this, but yes, we can surely, think whether we really want subsidy or we can really work without subsidy. Because a person who is trying to install a solar hot water system or a solar rooftop system, I'm sure is, not that poor that he cannot. I mean, he will be banking on 20% or 15% of the subsidy that comes to his hand net after deduction at different sources. Thank you, Subbu.
Right. I think what Mr. Kulkarni is saying is, I agree with him. We should look at a non-subsidy regime now, because even when solar was some 400 rupees a watt peak, there was 30% subsidy. So that means at 70% of 400 rupees, the project was viable. And then when it was 200 rupees also, there was subsidy. When it became 100 rupees also, there is subsidy, same 30% subsidy. And today when it is some 30, 40 rupees, then also we have 30% subsidy. I think what Mr. Kulkarni is saying, we can probably, it will be good to do away with subsidies on private rooftops.
Yeah.
And another thing is that for the distribution companies, I think it is important to incentivize the distribution companies to give permission. So another way of incentivizing besides what MNRE is paying out can be that see, every distribution company has a RPO. So till you meet your RPO, it is mandatory for you to give permissions. But then whatever permissions you will give for installations post achieving your RPO, maybe a small percentage of that energy can go to the distribution company free of cost. Maybe 1%, 2% or 5%, whatever. So this will also, pull customers to go in early for a solar system, because those who will be the first few people, the early birds, they will be able to sell 100% of their power. They will be able to get 100% of their power. And those who will come in late, they will probably sacrifice 5% of their power to the distribution company. Thirdly, on the battery front, like you were mentioning, to the GST Council, see, solar batteries, especially when we say these positive tubular plate batteries, these are being primarily used in places where grid power supply is not reliable. So it is an essential product for them. So on one side, you have deprived them of a good grid. On the other side, you are taxing the battery they are purchasing at 28%. It's not a fair deal. So this also can be put in your representation when you're making to the GST Council.
Right.
Yeah. I would like to just come again on the subsidy part. I remember subsidy was there for hot water systems some years back. And what people did is, assuming that the government is going to pay them subsidy, they deducted that amount from their basic amount and started, supplying solar systems. And what happened is subsidy did not come through. And then people had to really sell their property, gold and all that, to match up with the amount that has gone, which has not come by way of subsidy. Even today, if you are seeing 2012, 2013, 2014, subsidy is yet to come from the government. And if people are doing the same thing, like, reducing the amount of subsidy and giving it net of subsidy, then we are like, you know, trying to make suicide. So I'm a strong believer that subsidy should not be there. Why do we want to bank on subsidy when the solar business, I think, is really sustainable without subsidy?
Yeah, it is true. We should have a era without subsidy. Then only market will become competitive. I think the new Electricity Act is getting discussed, and I think we should also be a part in that, because the more of renewable energy is there in that act. And if I remember correctly, at the end of that papers, it is being told the subsidy era should be going out, and also electricity generation distribution will be getting privatized. So this is the right time. We also should be a part of that discussion where our views also can be put in that Electricity Act.
Hello, Subbu, this is Harshwar. If I may just add just one point that everyone missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me talk about the situation right now. COVID का ये जो situation चल रहा. Right now, Odisha is going to evacuate 5 lakh workers from various parts of the state. So is every other state is doing. Now, so what we are seeing, let's see from a perspective of government. अगर हम लोग, if we were the secretaries or ministers or MLA MPs, what should we do? So देखिए यहाँ पे, so we have a mass migration of labor class, technicians, job holders from urban areas or manufacturing unit places or states to their rural areas. So वहाँ पे, so when we open up the rural market is some which is has to be focused. So let's open up the rural markets like rural livelihood projects, R&D innovations in agri and pisciculture sector. So that is where like cold storages, because allowing them, because some rural entrepreneurs would love to, you know, experiment on those sectors, give them 200% subsidy, tax benefit. So allow those companies who are doing this kind of projects in rural areas, give them some kind of 200% tax benefit, just like AD benefit. So that will encourage that. This 200% tax benefit was earlier there for R&D. Now, if we do that, it opens up new markets for these companies, because not every rooftop company will be able to survive the post-COVID scenario. So some have to switch over to the rural market or innovation market. And for India to become self-reliant, we need to go for R&D. We need to promote R&D. So as I said, every kind of R&D, whether it is a solar cap manufacturing or it is a small scale solar, for pisciculture or for cold storages, those has to be promoted. So this urban solar companies can venture into those markets, because that is where the money is flowing right now, because we are not doing any work and the money is mostly spent on agri sector. Just opening up the rural markets, livelihood projects and R&D innovations in agri sector. That's my last point.
Valid point, Saswatji. So if I am assuming that everybody has spoken, there is nothing has been missed out. So what my suggestion is that let's, if all of you find okay, let's try to connect like this at least once in a month. You know, this COVID situation, we all are working from home. It's good to connect, and in the next meeting we can discuss what is all the points we collected, what did we do, and is there any outcome impact. So at least there is no harm in trying, and there is no harm in connecting. And this is a group, we are like-minded people. We love to talk to each other. We love to see each other. So I suggest that at least once in a month for an hour, let's keep connecting.
I just have one point to make, if it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, instead of subsidy, in Maharashtra, what they have done is they have made it mandatory for some buildings, you know, like for example, residential complexes, solar hot water system is mandatory. So without which, you know, the company, the building is not getting the completion certificate. Similarly, if instead of subsidy, we can have all the industries compulsory mandatory to have rooftop systems. That will boost up our business of the solar rooftop. I think instead of subsidy, if you can push this, that you make it mandatory for, say, for example, 50 kilowatts and above system, solar rooftop is compulsory. without which your industry will not work. Imagine the amount of business that is going to come for rooftop sector. I think if MNRE can pressurize the state, or through the, I don't know which channel it can be done, but if it can be done, it will be really a big boom for the solar industry, and there will be huge potential in market for us. Instead of subsidy, if you can make it mandatory that all industries should have rooftop.
So this one minute, sir. I just add in this. Haryana is already having this type of policy. If your industry or whatever your commercial office, if you have 100 kilowatt and above connection, then you need to minimum 5% put the solar. This is the mandatory in Haryana.
Yeah, we in Tamil Nadu, while Jayalalitha was the chief minister, this has been introduced for the high-rise building. Even till now, it is there. You know what has happened? The people, the culprits are there in our field. They go to the, building developers. They'll install the system and show for the inspection and take it back. They will collect 5% or 10% commission for that. That's what was happening in Tamil Nadu now. That officer is recording, oh yes, it has been already installed a solar PV power plant. That's what's going on.
The point which I was trying to make is MNRE should have a common policy for all states as far as the rooftop projects are concerned, and they should make a policy making it mandatory for all states to follow.
Right. One would love to achieve that, but Mr. Kulkarni, India is a federal structure, and electricity is also a concurrent subject. The policy you are talking about and happened in Haryana, in Rajasthan, and in Tamil Nadu, it was basically initiative of state government. So in many matters, center will have very limited jurisdiction. So what I think what we can do, all the nodal agencies, there is a forum, association of nodal agencies, I think it's called ACOR. So TEDA from Tamil Nadu, HAREDA from Haryana, MEDA from Maharashtra, all are members of that, and they have a meeting. So we can take it up with them that yes, there should be, all the policies should be uniform, and here are some of the good practices that some of the other states have done, and it could be aligned. The other forum we can take it up is with the forum of regulator, pan India wide. So I am doubtful if MNRE can help here too much, but these two platforms we can leverage and make some effort to achieve this one nation, one policy. Is a goal. I would say it's a holy grail of our solar sector, but effort also would need to be made from our side rather than only federal government. So let's continue, all stakeholders present here, let's continue to work on this.
Thank you everyone for joining today's call. As mentioned by Suman sir, we will try to meet once in a month to discuss contemporary issues that are concerned with solar in the states. We would also request all of you to keep us updated on the national level. As a National Solar Federation, we have more than 100 members from 26 states in the country, and our main, our forte is MSMEs, which represent many solar rooftop players in all your states. Though we get the knowledge of the ongoings in the state, but if it comes through you, we'll be more updated on that aspect. With this, I'd like to thank all of you for joining today's call. By tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll be sharing the minutes, and as directed by Suman sir, we'll follow up with respective authorities on different issues. So thank you very much for joining. Have a nice night.
And all of you,
stay safe for letting us in the meeting, and it was nice having a discussion. Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So I hope we all are staying home and staying safe.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good night.
Night.